All right, guys. Well, welcome back. As my title suggests, today I'm here in northern Idaho for this job interview. I'm sitting in my hotel room now. It's about 12 o'clock, and I'm starting to get a little tired. But I thought I'd make a quick video here before I went to bed. So anyway, I flew down here on Sunday. Long flight, Atlanta to Portland, Oregon. It was like 5.5 hours. And then I went Portland to Spokane, and then I got a rental car and did all that. So anyway, I woke up Monday morning and I went in for this interview for this job. First, I met with the owner. He just kind of talked with me, kind of wanted to know what my long-term goals were, and then he spoke with me kind of about some company policies concerning like vacation, non-disclosure agreement, some other stuff like that. We ended up speaking for a while. Then he kind of asked me a little bit more about my background and kind of what he was looking for in a candidate. I mean, he was kind of looking for someone that could possibly do some programming, kind of some electronics work, not necessarily electrical, but like actually be able to build like analog circuits and so on. Somebody that could possibly do some CAD and some general engineering on top of that. Then we ended up going to lunch, and when we came back, I met with this production manager, which was a little bit more of a standard interview, asking questions like, give me an example of a mistake you've made and how you dealt with it, stuff like that. Anyway, so after that, they he just kind of explained that he kind of elaborated a little bit more on what the owner first said, just kind of what kind of role they were looking for me to fill. It's kind of a technical role. A lot of members of this company are kind of older. Not that that's a bad thing. In many ways, that just means they're more experienced. However, I think they're lacking slightly in kind of the new kind of computer tech. Computer's not even really the right word. Just kind of the new like science kind of department. I mean, obviously, I'm fresh out of grad school, which means I'm inexperienced, really. But I do kind of have experience in, how is data taken now, how to use computers to, to help streamline the experimentation process, and so on. So I think that's kind of what they're looking for a little bit. They kind of want to get a little bit new blood, but they're also looking for someone. He mentioned to me originally that I might be one of the main engineers is possibly going to be retiring in a year or two, and they wanted to bring in someone new so they could possibly have some overlap, where I could kind of learn some of what was going on. I just noticed the screen's kind of low. Anyway, so as for the business, the company does. I might have mentioned this in my last video. I'm not sure that the company mainly does vacuum science and technology. I think I'm going to make another video where I'm going to talk about a little bit more about what that really means, maybe later, but I'll see. But anyway, so they have a few engineers, the owner, a couple secretaries kind of running the front and helping steer calls and answer questions and so on. And then they have like a person that does or maybe two people that do assembly. They kind of then have a production manager that kind of deals with all the kind of make sure everyone is on track and the jobs are orders are being made, parts are getting brought in. He kind of handled he was the second person I met with and interviewed, and he kind of handled quoting orders. A lot of the orders they do, supposedly the owner said around 75% are custom, even though they do have a catalog of sorts. It's not real long. Sometimes people will order stuff straight out of there, but not often. Most people will be like, hey, I'd like to get this with like these things custom built onto it. So a lot of what they have to do is custom, which is a good thing. I mean, I wouldn't want to be working somewhere where I was doing the same thing day in, day out every day. They have a nice like machine shop in the back. They have a 4-axis CNC, a 3-axis CNC, and a CNC lathe. The other two were mills. Sorry if that wasn't clear. Vertical mills. And then they have welders. They have some vacuum equipment. Obviously for testing vacuum on everything. They want to make sure everything is good and obviously holds vacuum correctly and so on. And they have some, all the stuff you normally find in any sort of a vacuum lab that did that sort of thing. So I would probably be fitting in kind of somewhere. I think he said originally they kind of jump me around a little bit, do a little assembly, maybe do a little design work. I think I'd possibly doing a little R&D in terms of like helping them, not so much develop new products, but take some of their existing products and kind of upgrade them a little bit. They have some like measurement type equipment, some evaporators, stuff like that they would kind of like to streamline, maybe add in some kind of additional components that allow them to become more computer controlled or so on, something along those lines, or increase their accuracy and precision. So anyway, I'm in case I didn't mention, I'm here in I think I maybe did. I'm here in Coeur d'Alene, Idaho, which is just east of Spokane, Washington, just right across the border. Honestly, Spokane and Coeur d'Alene are practically the same city. I mean, you pretty much have civilization in terms of like housing and stores and so on, all the way from Spokane all the way into Coeur d'Alene. Where Coeur d'Alene kind of ends is kind of where civilization ends in terms of heading east. There's a national forest on the east side of it, and the interstate continues to run, but in terms of like housing and businesses and so on, it kind of ends where Coeur d'Alene ends. Then to the south of Coeur d'Alene, there's a giant lake. I think it's called Lake Coeur d'Alene. It's quite large by my South Carolinian standards. It has over 100 miles of shoreline. If that gives you any idea. However, it's not like real round. Obviously, I mean it's kind of long and narrow, but it's still a good sized lake nonetheless. And there's another lake to the north, a little further north, that's supposedly like the second largest freshwater lake west of the Mississippi. It looks like a pretty cool area. There's skiing nearby for the winter months. There's at least 3 or 4 big ski resorts within an hour or so, maybe 2 hours of here. Then there's a bunch of lakes, like I just mentioned. So once it gets a little warmer, you can do a lot of fishing and water sports on those. And obviously, as I mentioned, there's this national park on one side. There's actually 2 state parks kind of northwest and southwest of Spokane, or of Coeur d'Alene, and kind of the Spokane area that look like they have a lot of hiking and kind of outdoors options. Today I went by this really cool little hill thing. I'm not quite sure. I don't really want to call it a mountain, but it's decent size. Several hundred feet high. That was kind of right in the middle of town, called Tubbs Hill. That was kind of cool. I mean, it was like here I was like downtown, and then I kind of went off the side street, and there's this big old hill, and I hiked around on it for probably an hour or so. I saw some deer. There was a clutch of turkey. I'm not sure if you call it a clutch. I think you do. Anyway, so yeah, it was a really cool experience, and I imagine it's only that magnified, if I was to go up in these national parks and so on, where it's much more untouched and further away from civilization. So then I ended up looking, the last couple days I've been kind of just looking at the area, figuring out if this is in fact where I want to move. I looked at housing. I met with some different people that talk about housing, and I think I've probably figured out where it is I want to go. I think I'm going to get a roommate. I feel like it might help me better adjust, partially because I know I'm going to be a little homesick. I mean, I've always lived somewhat close to home, but, never real far away. So I'll kind of see what happens with that. And then I also thought it'd be nice to have someone to kind of help prepare me, / if I have any questions to ask for the winters here. I mean, obviously, I gather that I have no idea what winters are really like. They say it gets just cold, well below zero for a lot of the winter. Snow will stick around the entire time. And for many of you that live in the north, I'm sure that's very normal. But for, somebody like me that's never lived on obviously north of the Mason-Dixon line, it's probably going to be an experience the first time. So yeah, so I think I decided I'm going to move in with a roommate, and I think I've already picked which one it's going to be. In case I forgot to say, at the end of the interview Monday night that I was called and actually offered the job. Looks like it's going to be pretty. They offered a pretty good package. I mean, it's a decent amount of money. There's a health is included, like a health care is included, with like dental, and then there's also a 401k plan included in that. So I think I'm probably going to take the job, and I'm probably, like I said, figured the person I'm going to be moving in with. And it seems like a pretty good situation. It's a nice house in a pretty good area, and but I think we're different enough that we're not going to be like trying to hang out all the time. But we're probably we're fairly close in the same age, and fairly similar, such that I think we'd get along well. And it's a she, by the way. She'd probably introduce me to more people and in the area, and just kind of help me not feel quite like I'm 3,000 miles away from everyone that I know, which is kind of the situation that I'll be getting myself into. So anyway, I think that's about it. I might try to make a video, like I mentioned earlier, soon, about kind of what it is, vacuum science technology, like why is it important, what it is that I'd be doing here, what it is that this company does specifically, and yeah, and so I think that's about it. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this one, and I will talk to you later. Have a good one. Bye.